Right now, you're hearing a voice, mine, clicking on inside your skull while you watch this. But there's another one in there too, the quiet one, the one you call you. You didn't switch it on, you can't switch it off, and you've never once asked where it came from. Now, imagine it was gone. Imagine that instead of thinking, I should move, you just heard it. A command, a voice from outside, move, and your body obeyed. No argument, no I, just the voice, and you doing what it said. That's not a horror movie. There's a serious theory, taken seriously for 50 years, that says this is how every human lived until about 3,000 years ago. No inner voice, no you inside, just autopilot, and voices they mistook for gods. We treat being conscious as the one thing we couldn't possibly be wrong about, but nobody can tell you when it switched on. Not within 1,000 years, not within 50,000. And here's the part that should bother you. The answer might not be how long ago the lights came on, it might be how recently. So what are we even looking for? Most people assume consciousness just means being awake. It doesn't. A fish is awake. A security camera reacts to movement. That's not it. The thing we're hunting is the layer on top. Not just seeing, but knowing it's you doing the seeing. Not just having a thought, but hearing yourself have it. Picture a tiny version of you sitting in a chair, inside your skull, narrating everything. That little guy. When did he show up? Here's the first problem. He leaves no fossil. You can dig up a skull. You can't dig up whether anyone was home inside it. A brain running full self-awareness and a brain running on autopilot look exactly the same after 100,000 years. So you can't excavate consciousness, you can only hunt for its fingerprints. Fingerprint number 1, symbolism. A mind that decorates, a mind that marks things to mean something. Blombos Cave, South Africa. 75,000 years ago, someone picks up a chunk of red ochre, takes a sharp stone, and carefully scratches a crosshatch pattern into it. It's the oldest drawing on Earth. It's not a tool, it's not food, it does nothing, except mean something to the one who made it. Same cave, 59 tiny sea snail shells, each one pierced in the exact same spot, worn down like beads on a string, a necklace. Think about that. 75,000 years ago, someone wanted to look good. And to care how you look, you have to imagine how you appear inside someone else's head. No farming, no houses, a starving caveman, but make it fashion, priorities. Then it escalates. 51,000 years ago, a cave in Sulawesi, Indonesia. Humans don't just paint an animal, they paint a scene. Figures hunting a wild pig, and some of the figures are half human, half animal. It's the oldest story ever told. And to tell a story, you have to do the most conscious thing there is, picture something that never actually happened. So, case closed. Consciousness is at least 75,000 years old, right? In 1976, a psychologist dropped a theory so insane that scientists have spent 50 years trying to kill it. They failed. His name was Julian Jaynes, and his claim was this. All of it, the cave art, the necklaces, the first cities, the pyramids, could have been built by people who were not conscious. No inner voice, no I, nobody home. How? He read the oldest stories on Earth, and he noticed something nobody else had. In the Iliad, the most ancient layer of Homer, the characters never stop to think, they never weigh their options, they never argue with themselves. A warrior needs courage, a god shows up and pours it into him. A hero's about to act, a voice tells him to. Jaynes said those aren't poetic decorations, that's an honest description of how the mind actually worked. The two halves of the brain weren't fully wired together yet. One half gave the orders, the other half just obeyed. And the orders didn't feel like thoughts, they sounded like a voice, out loud, real as anything. They didn't think, that's me, they thought it was a god. Then, about 3,000 years ago, the world got complicated.
too big and too crowded for voices to run it, so the system broke. The voice collapsed inward, it went quiet, and it became the thing you now call you. We didn't invent the inner voice, we swallowed the gods, and we've been hearing the echo ever since. Now, most scientists think Jaynes went too far. A 75,000-year-old necklace is hard to square with nobody was conscious until Homer. But here's why nobody has managed to fully bury him. The voices are still here. In schizophrenia, the brain produces speech and then mislabels it, tags it as coming from outside, as a command, and we can watch it happen on a brain scan in real time. The machinery for hearing a god speak inside your own skull isn't ancient history, it's running right now in millions of living people. Jaynes didn't invent the bicameral mind, he just asked one question nobody could answer. What if it used to be normal? Which leaves the deepest problem of all, the one none of these theories escape. How would you ever prove something else is conscious? The closest test we have came in 1970. A psychologist named Gordon Gallup had a simple idea. Put a mark on a face, show them a mirror, watch what happens. If they reach up and touch the mark on their own face, not the glass, they understand. The reflection is them. Watch who passes. A chimpanzee inspects itself. A dolphin spins to check the mark. An elephant, a magpie, they pass. And a human baby fails completely, swings at its own reflection until it's about 18 months old. Sit with that one, because this is what the question was hiding the whole time. You keep asking when the species woke up, but you did it too. There was a version of you, a real one, with your face. It looked in a mirror and saw a stranger. It couldn't say, I. It had no voice in its head at all, and you don't remember 1 second of it. Almost nobody remembers anything before the age of 3 or 4. Psychologists call it childhood amnesia. The lights didn't just come on for the human race once in some cave we're still digging up. They came on for you, and you slept straight through your own awakening because there was no one inside yet to notice it was happening. So maybe the most honest answer to when did humans become conscious is this: the same way you did, slowly, quietly, with no witness and no one home yet to mark the moment. Here's the thing to sit with tonight. Right now there is a voice in your head, the quiet one, the one that's been narrating underneath mine this entire video. You didn't choose it, you can't switch it off, you can't point to where it lives or name the day it began. And for almost the entire time there have been humans on this planet, as far as we can tell, that voice wasn't there. The strangest part isn't that it arrived, it's that it has become so completely you that you can no longer imagine the silence it replaced. You are the universe's most recent experiment in listening to itself, and you still don't know when it began.